this is part of the thing I was actually trying to string together with what we were chatting about, right? Is with the lack of rares, we're talking, and they've mentioned already, like super rares are almost basically sold out. It's actually getting kind of hard right now to spend the market credits I just won this week, because I'm looking around and it's like there's not actually any auctions for me to go and bid on. And when I go to instant buy, there's a few cards that I might be interested in, but the majority of them, their instant buy price is like
you've got to overpay, don't you? Yeah.
You know what I mean? So market credits like were handy, super handy for me. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, is this where I'm getting back into the Penfez's brain, and maybe I just try and sit on it for as long as I can?
Is that the reason they're kind of moving them out maybe towards the back end of the season?
Maybe. No.
So they are essentially getting rid of them out of rewards for the common mode. So maybe that's that plan every year. You get market credits first half of the year, and then second half of the year, because they've not got cards to sell, they kind of phase them out, sort of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think after probably hearing me talk about it loads, saying I'm going to save like thousands of pounds of market credits just to get all the stars cheap as shit, they're probably like, oh fuck, got to get rid of that ASAP, because we don't want all that new money going, like, disappearing.
Yeah, I suppose that the restart every time you win one, so kind of encourages you to keep going as well. It's like an ongoing. It reminds me of like when you used to play on Sky Bet, and if you put on 20 quid a bets a week, they'd give you a fiver. Yeah,
I loved that.
Yeah, every week. So,
every Friday it came on. I loved it.
So like now,
Fiver Friday.
It restarts every time you win auction credits, but then I guess you have to have the luck or the miss for whatever. You don't know what boxes are going to come out of. But yeah, I mean they're just chucking out like Argentinian cards. Then there's going to be K-League cards. There's going to be J-League cards. There's going to be MLS cards and everything. So like, they'll probably want people that have spent all their money in EPL or whatever, they're winning some cash back to venture into those other divisions. Yeah. So we'll see if that's deliberate or whether they just cranked it up a wee bit at a certain point to keep the buys flowing.
Yeah, if you want to stay in the same region like me, but it's not really going to work. But I get you.
Yeah.
Because again, the market is just going to be flavored now, isn't it? It will just be J and K that came out, then it'll be MLS, and that will just be. I think the Penfez, I've definitely heard you mention it in videos and stuff, but like they flush everything out. All the Europe stuff's gone. So then when the new stuff comes in, there's no competition on the market with like a Yamal card, taking the money away from the Messis or whatever. So yeah, it feels like it's very things that people forecasted is very much shaken out now, how they're behaving and how they're maximizing themselves, which like you kind of mentioned earlier in the Penfez, it feels like a more, to paraphrase you, just a more grown up thing now. It's just like it's matured. It's like it knows what it is.
And it will piss people off, but it is for the better of the site as a whole, which if you genuinely love So Rare, that's great. If you was just on So Rare because you thought you could turn around a quick buck or, cash in on some crypto or whatever like that, like, yeah, you may be a bit frustrated and upset, but we want true fans playing this because that's what will keep it alive. And the positive sentiment of some random person coming on the site, having a great time and then telling their pals about it is what will drive So Rare and make it become that household brand that's still there in 10, 20 or 30 years time. Like for me, that's good. And it's really easy to forget because of how big So Rare got so quick and how much money was involved in So Rare. It's really easy to forget that they are effectively like a startup company. Do you know what I mean? Like they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing. They're pioneers in the space. It's understandable that they're going to make mistakes consistently, and they probably still will because there's nothing like it out there. Like sometimes we have to give them a little bit of leeway on that.
Yeah, it's something I often remind myself of when it comes to that kind of big thinking on So Rare. Like when I found it in the first instance because of all the Football Index stuff, I kind of realized like they'd fixed a problem before the problem had ever came up for them with all the blockchain stuff, the official licensing, scarcity of cards and whatever. And it feels like, and I heard Laird say something similar. I've said that about 10 times in this show. I'm sorry, but
just replay Laird's podcast instead. Like, I think
he said something to the tune of like, if they started it today, they would just start with the big leagues and then maybe they would work down the way a little bit. Whereas obviously they've had to do the total reverse. And it does feel that a lot of the game has been like, the cart has been put before the horse, but it's not really been through design. It's just been by circumstance of the big leagues when they give them a shot. So they had to go and get the wee leagues, and they had the technology. That's what gave them the idea for the business rather than making a business to make money. It was like a tech-based innovation or whatever. So like, yeah, it's a weird one because like when you're building, not that I've built many businesses, or especially certainly not anything to this kind of level, but it's normally like get the customers first, make them happy, and then kind of make sure you don't piss them off the whole way through. Whereas with this, it's been make the game, customers come in, and it's just all been kind of trying to go at the same time. And it's just been a kind of like a kind of, I don't know what the word is I'm trying to say, but this is what's going on in my head. There's a bit of friction, you know, between the two. One wants one thing, one needs another, and it's just that kind of that balancing act in between times. So, yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of good practices we've seen this season. And again, on top of what the Essence thing you guys were saying earlier, I think we all know that they kind of cocked up Essence this year. So those little numbers we've got, there's maybe still a bit of penance in them from the early season shenanigans, which gives me hope maybe next season they're just a wee bit more exciting.
Yeah, I think from what they said on the latest vlog, they seem to have uncocked it up in the sense that I think this is along the lines of the numbers are sort of under control now to the point where we can increase it a bit. So I think next year we'll see more of a steady flow throughout the year rather than it going up and down or whatever.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I reckon
That's
they should do it.
the fixed thing as well, because like we don't know what's going to come out of the boxes. Just like we're going to give out 4, we're going to give out 5, we give out 6, and then you can't bugger up the calculations unless you're as bad at maths as me these days.
For sure.
No, I think they should do this tournament they got now, the multiplex one with a cash prize for points. They should do that for Essence, shouldn't they? Put 1 million Essence in a prize pool. Be like
end of season blowout. You know,
everything that they've got left. Be like every card will go. This is what we've got left. Score 350 points or more and get your share. Imagine you get like, oh damn, I've won like 7,500 Essence. Let's fucking go. It's party time. And then it's all contender. And you're like, fuck.
Just muhims everywhere and taverniers.
Yeah, the brats become classic the next day. Yeah.
Furuhashi.
Yeah.
Furuhashi. That would be good. I like that. I like the thing I like the most about the multiplex when I kind of seen the thing for it when it came out. What it really, like, the Champions League is probably the best place for it. I know we've kind of spoke about it already, but I just love the fact that it's like 30 minutes before the games and all the games are kicking off together. And that's the one thing like I quite like about the Best of Europe thing that they've kind of tried to do a little bit. Is it's like it's kind of what Rivals I think they wanted it to be, but they need to get this into Sorare somewhere where we're all playing the same game, we're all playing with the same cards, and it's all like get up unit, I finished 10th, you were 45th or whatever, and it actually means something. You know, it's not just like that throwaway common mode, or I didn't play Rivals this week, I don't care, I got relegated, and that kind of thing. So I think this multiplex, it just gives you that bit of a flavour for it, because everyone will have a bunch of commons going out. We'll all be picking the same kind of teams anyway, and for those matches, for that 2 hours, man, everyone's going to be plugged in and tuned into the matches, the scores, the leaderboard. It's going to be quality, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Do you know what would be good, Quinny? Because I remember someone else done this. See, when you get to the last round of games in a season where they all kick off at the same time for no competitive advantage, you could make that like the finale. That would be absolutely insane. Because that's like you do have games where like people rotate a bit because like they've got nothing to play for. But you'll be able to like actually pick out the lineup, you know. But all the games all start at the same time. So imagine an EPL finale where you've got a relegation battle on at the same time, a Euro battle, and the league still to be won or whatever, like the Man City like weekend where Aguero scored or whatever. Like that would be like bring a lot of hype to the end of the season, where usually cards are kind of like dying a death, if you know what I mean, because there's no utility left. So
yeah, I think there's a real chance that happens now. It seems any chance they can get of everything's lined up nicely, we'll make the deadline later. Any chance they can do that, they seem to be wanting to do it at the moment.
It also again lends into having a collection, doesn't it? Because if you've got that B list player or whatever, you know, the guy that's just going to get his debut because why the fuck not, or the backup goalkeeper, because apparently on the last day of the season it's like customary to just give the guy that's never played a minute all season a chance at a game. You'll be sitting there be like, let's go, like finally, you know, this guy that I paid like 33p for 7 months ago is going to shine for me, only for him to concede 7 goals and get an error to goal at the same time. But still, it's like you had the chance. You know what I mean? You knew he was going to play. It's great. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah. With a million essence up for grabs and the split
Yeah.
jackpot
that'd
for
be
anyone
great.
that gets 500 points or whatever.
Well, like with rares specifically, they're nearly at the end of the line, and with super rares they are as well. So if they did have like a last day thing of like, all right, we've got 150 limiteds of all the players left, 1 or 3 rares and 0-1 super rares, everything will be won. Setting that as a standard going forwards, yeah, it might crash the market a little bit on these cards, but it won't really, because there's already so many classics, and it's not like you get an in-season advantage. Maybe if you get a player that's in the Champions League final or the Europa League final, you get that one extra game. And then maybe if they do some like international tournaments that require in seasons, you get a little bit of extra flavor from it.
Club World Cup.
Yeah, Club World Cup as well, yeah. But wouldn't it be cool to just be like, right, we've got, 12 like Anthony Gordons left. They will be won in this weekend. Like they have to go. I think that would, again, it would change. It would definitely like, I think it would keep the price and the floor of these in seasons higher for longer, because you're not going to sell them. You're going to want that last day of the season bump of like, okay, I could fucking win something massive here, or lots of things here, because I've still got my cards. I think it'd be good.
They did that before. What they did was, there was one season where they had old rules where you couldn't be rewarded if you hadn't played in the last 5 games. I remember the old rules where you would only win guys who were winning, and then they did a specific competition at the last month of the season, and they rewarded all of the star guys who they couldn't reward in the other competitions. They put out a list of it, and like, you'll laugh at this, but Anthony was in it, Man United Anthony, but he was selling for insane amounts. Ajax Anthony at that point, and he was selling for loads. So everybody was moaning that he wasn't in the pools because he was under 23s, and he was like selling for loads. So they did this competition where they said, right, X, Y, and Z, these guys, we can't throw them in the prize pool. And then there was another one they did for the last round of the season where they souped up the cap to 70, and they done like an enhanced prize pool, and they gave out more stars because they realised they had still had the supply left. And it was great because they called it like the golden cap to 70 or some shite. So, but it was a great competition. It was really good.
Yeah, I think
that's part of the fear with the end of season stuff, is that all the good prizes are gone.
Yeah.
But if you got that sense of, if they set that precedent of like end of season, everything must go kind of thing, that would be in the back of your head next year going into it. Is like,
even
end
if
of
there's
year
like
is party
one
time.
or 2 Salahs left or 1 or 2 Haalands left, you'd be like, okay, score 400 points and you get a share of the cards, and then the
stars
cards
are
given out to everyone that's randomly assigned. That'd be sick, wouldn't it? Imagine opening like a little pack of cards. You're like, fuck me, I got this guy, that guy, a couple of shitters, a good collection piece, and then a Salah pops up. People are like, let's go. But again, for the next season, it would set a precedent where people be like, all right, these MLS cards, I'm actually going to buy when maybe as the season starts declining and people start selling off. You pick them up ready for that end of season ramp up of like, yeah, let me go hard on the back end of the season. Wow, we should all work for Sorare, guys. We'd be fucking brilliant at making the money, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Hope we're listening.